Alright guys, so I'm going to do a video today about why I did not buy a 1000cc. So going back about 3 years ago, I actually had a 1000cc. It was a Ninja 1000, not a super sport, but it was a sport touring bike. And basically that bike was really heavy. I want to say it was like 500 pounds roughly, somewhere around there. It was really heavy. It was upright. Loved the bike. No complaints about what the bike was intended for, which was like touring and whatnot. But it did great for that. But riding on the streets, like where we typically ride on the weekends and whatnot, twisty corners and long straightaways, good for wheelies. But that bike was just heavy, and I was looking for something different. So I started looking around, and I started looking at a bunch of different 1000s, because I was like, oh, I need a 1000. Long story short, all my research basically led me to not want a 1000cc and want something smaller, like a ZX6 or an R6 or something like that, GSX R600 or whatnot. But at the same time, it'd be more flickable, easy to ride, easy to flick around, but it would be a lot harder to lose that horsepower that I was used to from my Ninja 1000. So long story short, I was looking for something like right in the middle, like basically something that was really flickable, easy to just flick around in and out corners and whatnot. And I ended up looking at originally I was going to look at an R1 that they had, because it was like a super killer deal. Went to go look at it one day, and when I got there, I realized that it had been laid down, and that's probably why it was on a super good deal. So long story short, I saw this bike, and I had looked at the GSX R750s. What is she doing? Must have had something in her eye. But anyways, I had looked at the GSX R750s, and I thought they were great and whatnot, but I wasn't so sure about going to Suzuki. Because so many people talk crap about Suzukis, and it is like the squid throne. Like, mostly squids ride Gixxers. I mean, it's just kind of a known fact, especially here in Florida. Usually when you see a GSXR is somebody wearing shorts and a tank top, it's just not a good thing. But they are great, dependable bikes. So I saw the bike sitting there, and I always loved this color scheme. And so I got on the bike, I started looking at it. It was the leftover, it was 2016, but the bike was a 2015 leftover. Or, I'm sorry, it was the end of 2015, that's right. I believe it was the end of 2015s, and the 2016s were on the floor. So they had this bike marked down to like $9,000, and the brand new ones were like still well over 11. I think they were like 11.5, somewhere around there. So it was like $2,500 cheaper, and they were doing rebates and whatnot through Suzuki. So long story short, they had a used 750 there. This one I could not ride because it was literally brand new, 0 miles on it, and it didn't even have a battery or gas in it or anything. And so anyways, long story short, I test rode, I want to say it was the 2013 GSX-R 750, and like I was like instantly in love with it. And I just realized that going from a 1000 sport touring bike to this, I was practically getting the same horsepower, but with about 100 pounds less weight on the bike. So to me, it was like a no-brainer. I was like, let's do it. Sign me up. So I filled out all my whatever. I did all the financing and this and that, and I actually rode out of the shop that day with this bike. And and literally, like, this has been, like, out of all the bikes I've ridden the new CBR 1000. Love that bike. Probably my favorite 1000 that I've ridden of the newer bikes. But I rode the GSX-R 1000, the new one. I've ridden the new R1, and honestly, I can say that, like, with riding all of those bikes, I never, like, feel like I need that much power. Like, honestly, like, when I'm riding, I hardly ever go over, like, 100. Honestly, like, I barely ever go over 100. I have more fun, like, down low. You know, I don't chase wheelies out like I used to on my Ninja 1000 anymore, and my wheelies are typically around like 45 to 60 miles an hour at most. And it's a good feeling because slower wheelies are safer, you know, and they're just, I don't know, they just feel good. And this bike, like, down low, it has a lot of torque for a 750. I mean, if you compare this to like a 600, like especially like an R6 or something like that, you're gonna notice like a huge power band increase down low. Just the torque and everything is just great on this bike. So anyways, after I've ridden all these 1000s, I still love my 750, and I don't, like, it doesn't make me want to go out and buy a 1000, which just goes to show that, like, a lot of people will buy a 1000 just for the fact to say, like, they have a 1000, which to me is kind of silly, kind of stupid, kind of silly. I mean, if you can ride a 1000 to its potential, honestly, I can't even ride this bike to its full potential because I don't ride track. I'm not like the most experienced rider out there. I've been riding well over 10 years, but I can honestly, like, I'm a humble person and I'm not cocky. I'm not overconfident. I know I can ride, but I know I can't even push this bike to its limits. So why the hell would I want a 1000? You know, like, for highway runs and whatnot, but how much fun is that, honestly? And I'm not knocking 1000s. I think they have a place, and who knows, maybe I will buy a 1000. But at this moment, I've had this bike for going on 3 years now, and honestly, I just absolutely love this bike. Like, if something were to happen to this bike, I would probably go out and buy another one. Although I don't know what color scheme I would buy because I absolutely love this color scheme. Heather's color scheme on her 750 is pretty sweet too, but I think it's pretty feminine, like the white with the red rims. And if you're a guy and you ride that bike, don't be offended, because I just think I think it fits her very well. Like, that color scheme fits her very well. Yeah, I know it sucks right now, but I just think it's a feminine looking bike. You know, don't kill me for this, okay? But I do like that color scheme. But anyways, like, yeah, honestly, like, yeah, she's ready to get around these cars, but I'm kind of enjoying it because I can vlog at a lower speed a lot better than I can at high speeds because the wind noise gets really bad. I smell fire. Something's burning. So anyways, guys, that is why I don't want to upgrade to a 1000 right now. And like I said, in the coming years I may, but I'll leave you on this note. The next bike I buy is most likely going to be a 250. And I say that because I have this bike. I've literally wanted this certain bike. I'm not going to say what bike it is, but I've literally wanted, that is the ugliest house I've ever seen. I'm sorry. Sorry. I have a blue house with a blue window. I've literally wanted this other bike, which is a 250, for, like, before I wanted this bike, I've wanted the 250. And I have a feeling I'm gonna be purchasing it within the next year. Don't quote me on that, but I have plans to buy a second bike and still keep the 750. But we'll see. So you'd be like, people are like, why don't you buy 1000? And here I am thinking about buying a 250. How bizarre, right? Anyways, yeah, you can comment below and try to guess what 250 I'm looking at buying. I haven't put any hints on any platform of social media because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. It's just something I'm looking at, and financially, if it works out, I probably will purchase it next year at some point. But it's just something I've always wanted to get into, that certain bike. So we'll see. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave you on that note. And together, if I have the 750 and I buy the 250, technically I will have 1,000 cc's. Haha. That doesn't really work though, does it? Yeah, anyways, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out and ride safe.